Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Follow Your Dreams with Coach and Low. It's your boy Low. Coach, what's happening, bro?
What's happening, Low? What's going on, baby? Kentucky Derby, man.
The Derby, baby. My horse came in, man. My horse came in, brother. And you know, I wasn't gonna bet, right? I was like, man, I'm not gonna bet, but my friends that I was with was like, you can't come to the Derby and not bet. So I was like, all right, you know what, I'll dabble in it and whatnot. And I saw an older couple, and I walked over to them. I said, what horse you guys are choosing? And they said number 5. The name of the horse is Always Dreaming. So I said, oh, I got to go with Always Dreaming, baby. You know, talking about follow your dreams, Dreamchaser Academy. I said that was the sign right there. So I went ahead and put $10 on Always Dreaming, man, and I won me $60. Great experience, and I just saw what I saw out there, Coach, was a lot of successful people, man. I saw, you know, you could see people that had some money, people that were smart in their investments, and they work hard, and they also play hard. And that's what I got to see. It was a great experience, something I wanted to check off the bucket list, man. And if you guys don't have a bucket list, don't wait till you're 80 years old and you're about to die. You know, I encourage everyone to have some type of bucket list and just go out there and live life, man. Enjoy life. You know, we work hard. Learn how to play hard. It's okay to have a good time, but the real purpose of my trip, Coach, was for me to kind of step out of my comfort zone and go into an environment where I'm taking away from everything that I do. And I brought my laptop and some books with me and my notepads. I just wanted to go to work. I just wanted to grind out. I wanted to read, and I wanted to write some notes. And that was the purpose of the trip, man, to kind of clear my thoughts and put some things on paper and organize some things so that I can come back and ready to grind.
Hey, that's right, man. And I know you're ready. I know you're ready to hit it hard. It's been a blessing, man. And I know this past weekend my wife went to New York to visit her mother for Mother's Day. And, you know, I'm going to stay here and got some stuff done at the house. But just real quick, I want to ask you how you would have handled this situation. It's pretty funny. You know, at the airport, we got a friend of ours who let us use Buddy Pass. You know, if you've never flown on Buddy Pass before, you really have to, you have to be a traveler because it's hit or miss. You know, somebody purchases a seat, you got to wait till your name called. But she was taking my son with me, and she got to the gate, and apparently it was just a bad communication between me and my friend because I didn't tell him my son, even though he's a lap child, he doesn't have to pay for a ticket. You know, he still has to be accounted for. And so, you know, traveling on the Buddy Pass, Low, you got to dress professional, and if anything happens, you have to hold your tongue. Like, you can't say anything because you'll jeopardize, you know, your privileges. So it's funny because my wife doesn't hold her tongue, and my friend, he surely doesn't hold his tongue. So she gets to the gate, and they usually ride, if it's a first class seat, they give you first class, but you can't ride first class. You got a baby. And so wasn't a hiccup or discrepancy, but, you know, they told her, you know, she's going to have to wait a little bit. So my wife thought she was smoothing over the situation because the computers were down. So she thought she was smoothing over the situation. But instead, apparently she asked a question about, you know, why can't baby drive in the front or something. So they sent an email to my boy. And, you know, when people send emails, and remind me of myself being a teacher, you always put a little extra in there. So it made it seem like my wife was, you know, complaining that she wasn't sitting in first class. And, you know, sometimes in those situations I look back, and it all started with me. I had to take responsibility because of the lack of communication about my son traveling. So it's pretty funny because her and my friend, you know, they really don't hold their tongue that well. But in those situations, what I learned was, one, I took full responsibility right off the bat, Low, that it was my fault. You know, I text my friend, I said, hey, that's my bad. I should have told you that my son was coming. You know, he was saying, no, man, I should have asked you I should have been more clear. I knew you weren't coming, but I took full responsibility, Lo, and of that situation. Let me ask you this, Lo. What kind of situations, being in the airport, basically you're representing somebody else, and let's say they didn't have a seat for you, Lo. How would you respond in that situation? You got a speaking event coming up. They say, hey, we got to bump you to the next flight. How are you going to respond, Lo?
Well, I mean, obviously, through any adversity, you have to be cool. I think of my mentor, Tommy Davis, when he tells me, be cool, that everything's going to work itself out. And I talk about this in Growing Faith podcast. You just got to be grounded in faith, man. You have to trust in God. You have to trust that the Lord is going to provide a way. He's going to provide something or somehow. It may not be the way that we want it, but it's the way that he designed it. And so there's a lot of times when we feel like, well, it didn't go my way and I'm going to act a fool, I'm going to act out. But through time, I have been able to mature through those type of situations and realize it. And you have to understand, my brother, I'm in management. And so I guess I have been grooming to watch what I say and how I say it and who I say it to for the last several years, because I've been in management for 5 years. And so I'm representing, a large Fortune 500 company, and I have to be cautious on how I say something because I do represent them. And even though that I'm myself, but I would say, hey, I'm riding for free. I'll get there when I get there. It all works itself out at the end anyhow, and just kind of go with the flow and just see what happens. And many times when I put it in God's hands, I end up getting blessed anyway. And so, maybe your wife gets lucky and she ends up in first class. I don't know, but if there's rules, there's rules. But I'm sure that everything's going to work out. She's going to get to New York. She's going to be able to spend time with her mom, and that's just going to be water under the bridge.
Yeah. She got there, man. She got there. So it was cool. It was real cool, but definitely that was an interesting situation to her. And give my wife credit, man. She's been working real hard on that, man. She had a couple of situations. I can share this because she don't listen to the show anyway. I can share this. So she has she's on her grind. So she's going through her supervision to be a licensed counselor. She's on her grind, but she has this guy, man, that's supposed to be supervisor. This guy's never on time. This guy sometimes doesn't show up, and we're paying him monthly for this stuff. And his response is, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll make it up. But to me, and where we at and where our mind is and where my wife's mind is now, time is valuable. So, I'm real proud of her because the way she's responding, even the way we're handling it as a family, because we're taking the high road every time. We're not lashing at them. We say, hey, look, we're on time. We have a 1-year-old son. If you're not going to be there, just let us know. So now we're at the point, we got to move on. And I'm just real proud of how she handled it professionally. As a man, I feel ashamed of what he's doing. He stopped answering her phone calls, had his secretary try to call. And so it was a proud moment for me as a husband to see my wife and her growth and the way she handled the situation. But then again, I'm very disappointed of the way he acted, Lois. So shout out to my wife, Danielle, your professional growth and your personal development. Proud of you. And Lo, let me say this to our listeners. You got to continue to grow every day. See, every day, everybody's given 24 hours, and what you do with 24 hours is going to determine how far you grow and how close you get to achieving that goal that you set. And Lo, I'm gonna ask you this question. This second quarter started, man. Have you reassessed your goals this second quarter, and what does that look like of you revisiting your goals and what you need to do as we in the meat of the second quarter of 2017?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm constantly looking at my goals. That's a daily thing for me. Obviously, I have some outrageous goals. You know, I have some goals that are so big that it's going to take nothing but time to get there. But those are my daily goals, just constantly putting it in front of myself so that I know why I'm working so hard. I feel like if you're not looking at your goals and you're not reevaluating or you're not reassessing yourself, then you can miss your targets, and you have to set that target ahead of yourself so that you can know what you're pursuing. And so every time I feel like, man, I really don't want to do this right now, like it would be so cool to just sit back and relax. When I see my goals constantly in front of me daily, then I know that I can't take no time off. And I've come to the conclusion, and I have accepted the fact that I've wasted enough time. I have wasted enough time in partying. I have wasted enough time in traveling. I've wasted enough time hanging out with my friends. I've wasted enough time watching TV. And so since I wasted so much time, and like you said just a minute ago, time is valuable. So you have to be very precise in your time. You have to make sure that you are setting those goals. When you're talking about reassessing, I mean, I just took a trip myself. Just took a trip down to Kentucky. I spent a few days out there so I can get out of my comfort zone, so I can get out of my normal routine, which is going to work, opening up the shop, going to my meetings, doing this and doing that. I had to get out of that so I can reassess myself, see exactly where I'm at. Where am I at with those goals? Am I aligning myself with that goal, or am I rearing off to the side and getting sidetracked by other things that are good things? They're not that they're bad things, but are they aligned with my goal? And a lot of times you need to kind of get out of your comfort zone. You have to reassess yourself and see, hey, am I doing what I need to do in order to get to where I need to be? And for me, obviously, my speaking business has become my number one priority. And with that is writing and publishing a book. And so a lot of times I started reading this book, that I was reading before, but now I'm just going to read it straight through. And it's Grant Cardone's Be Obsessed or Be Average. And one of the things I took away right away was he talks about writing down your goal as if you already accomplished it. So write down your goal in the past tense rather than saying, I hope to become the top motivational speaker in the world. I hope to have $1 million in commercial real estate. Rather than saying that, claiming it and saying, I am the best motivational speaker in the world. I have $1 million in commercial real estate property. And that shift in how you speak and claim it, it convicts you with confidence, man. And so when you look at those goals, they don't seem so outreach because you're claiming it as if it already happened. You're claiming it as if you already reached those goals. And you have to be, what I've noticed is, like it says, be obsessed or be average. Because, see, motivation, it only lasts so long. It only lasts so long. And, yeah, it only lasts so long. That's why the gyms are packed in the first January and February of the year, and you start to see the numbers decrease by a large amount. Why? Because people are not obsessed with working out. They're only motivated in working out. It's a new year. Oh, it's Monday. I'm going to start this thing. I'm going to go at it. But a real man putting in that work, he putting in that grind when nobody sees him. He's putting in that grind when nobody expects him to put in that grind. I'm on vacation and people are like, go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I want you to jump in there. I want to jump in there and ask you this, because some of our listeners, I mean, you might be going too hard on them, Lo. You know why? Because they probably are not mentally prepared for this.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be mentally prepared. I mean, you dropping some serious nuggets on them, and you might be going too hard on them, but I think that's what it takes, honestly. For me,
I mean, it's a harsh reality, man. You have to, I put it like this, man. People aren't listening to our podcast if they don't want to develop, and so I feel that the people that are taking the time out to listen to our podcast, they do want to develop. They do want to win. They just don't know how to. And if it's a harsh reality, then it is what it is. Because, see, that's the only way you're going to be able to grow. That's what I said. You have to get out your comfort zone. Too many people are like, sugarcoating things. They watering it down. And coming from the competitive sports background that I have and playing football, the coaches tell you like it is. They don't sugarcoat and say how, you could do a little bit better. No, they're pointing it out like, look, this looks terrible, like awful, and I'm not going to use the language that they use.
Yeah, right,
but,
right. They're trying to make you cry. They trying to make you cry.
Yeah.
They're trying to make you quit.
And they want to see, you know what it is? They want to see who you really are. I think that character comes during the times when someone faces adversity, not during the times when everything's all sweet and everything's good. You really have character when you're put under pressure, when you're backed up against a wall and you have to produce. That's when you can tell from someone's character. I remember when I first started playing football, I was in the 7th grade, and it was challenging because it was the first time in my life that someone was challenging me mentally and physically. Because, see, my mother, even though, my mom was hard on me, but it wasn't the same coming from a male. It wasn't the same when a grown man is in your face, yelling at you. And so that harsh reality, I was disturbed at first, but it really that was the beginning stages of developing my character. And I never forget my coach pulling me aside and just telling me, son, you had a terrible day at practice, and I'm pushing you hard because I believe in you. I'm pushing you hard because I know you could do better. And that was when I realized that he wasn't just yelling at me because he didn't like me. And that's the problem with today's society, man. Nobody wants to hear the truth.
They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it, Lo. They don't.
They hiding from the truth, and you'll never develop if you don't hear the truth. And when we're talking about the difference between motivation and obsession, all right, when you're motivated and reaching a goal, but then your car needs work, you need to send it to the shop, you forgot about a bill that came out of nowhere, your girlfriend broke up with you. Your boss is treating you bad at work. Your favorite pair of sunglasses broke. When all of these things start happening, a.k.a. life, right, that motivation begins to wear off. Now, when you're obsessed, it don't matter what is going on in your life. And I'm gonna take a quote. I can take a quote. Several quotes here from Grant Cardone. He says, "Never allow anyone to tell you how well you are doing when you know you can do more." See, a lot of times we take credit like we do something and we felt like we did an okay job. But how many people, like I had my partner out here in Merritt Island. He went to my speech that I did. I did a graduation speech for the Brevard Group Treatment Home, and he happened to be my guest, sit in on it. And the reason why I asked him to come is because I believe that he would give me constructive criticism. He'll be able to tell me, hey, Lo, this is what you need to work on. This is where I can see some improvement. Not many people want that. Not many people want to perfect their craft. And for myself, that is exactly what I need to do so I can separate myself from everybody else. I need to be obsessed. Grant talks about, he says that a lot of people who are claimed to be obsessed with success, the norm, the people that the masses look at us crazy. They say, oh, you working too hard, you're going to burn yourself out. Oh, you're doing too much. Oh, your goals are too ridiculous. And if you look at innovation, if you look at all of the inventions in America, I mean, think about Edison. Think about all of these great men, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all of these men who failed their way to success. They were obsessed, bro. They weren't motivated. They were obsessed, because motivation stops when you get shut down. Motivation stops when the doors get closed and someone tells you, Coach, I appreciate your offer and your presentation, but you know what? Yeah, we're not gonna agree with this. And then the doors get shut on you. A lot of people quit on that first to second no. And Grant says, be obsessed like the little kid that you were. You remember, hey, Coach, you remember when we were kids and we go to the store and we see that ice cream cone that we want, and we ask our Mom, can I get an ice cream? You're like, no. Yeah. Like, Mom, please, I just want one. I said no. Oh, Mom, please. And you keep bugging. No, I said no, and that's it. Stop, sit down. Until eventually they be like, boy, you lucky, and then boom, you get what you want.
You get it. You get it.
Be obsessed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me jump in, man. That just happened to me, man. I didn't share it with the listeners. I was holding tight, and I shared it with you. But I interviewed for a big coaching job out here in Richmond, one of the biggest schools, the biggest school in Richmond City. And it was for my first head coaching job at a varsity for boys. And it's something I wrote down on my goal sheet, head coach by 30. I got through the first interview, smashed that. Got through the second interview, got called back. I was real excited. Energy was there low. Went in there, smashed that one. And I thought I was the best man for the job. I knew I was the best man for the job. I was grateful and humble for the opportunity to interview, but at the end of the day, I wanted that job. And one of the questions were asked me was, hey, would you be willing to accept an assistant position or apply for the head girls position? Guess what my answer was, Lo?
Yeah.
And my answer was no. But I wanted to say no in there. I came in for that head I wanted to come in there for that head boys job, and that's what my focus was on. But hey, what'd you just say, man? They told me no. They sent in the email, and I wasn't down about it at all. I was, first of all, like I said, I was grateful for the opportunity to even get past those applicants that applied for their job. I know over 100 people applied for that job in the area, over coaches, and people from all over applied for that job. It was a real prestigious job. Hasn't had a new head coach in over 30 years. I was just honored to just be in the conversation. So my name is out there, man, and I know I left a mark for them, but I wasn't getting down on myself about that no. Another door closes, one door closes, another one opens. But I'm going to be prepared for that opportunity. And let's talk about the preparation part. Not only was I prepared for the interview, prepared questions, I was mentally prepared for that. And see, a lot of us are not mentally prepared for the success or the blessings that God is going to give us and has planned for us. And that's why it might not be your season yet, because you're not mentally prepared for it. Let me give you an example. See, a lot of us might say, hey, I want to work on my credit. I want to get my credit score up. But then you go out and you get a credit card and you're using it constantly and you're not paying it off. Or, hey, I'm going to lose this weight, but you're not consistent in your workouts. You work out, twice a week or once a week, 1 week, and then twice a week. Mentally, I'm saying this because you're still stuck on those bad habits. See, I'm reading this book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, and he talks one of the strategies, one of the scrolls in the book talks about breaking those bad habits, and that's the mental process. Going 30 days. 30 days, we're concentrating on that habit that you want to break, and I think Lo, that's one of our problems as we embark upon the journey of success, is that we still want to hold on to some of those bad habits. We still want to, hey, let me go out for let me go to happy hour after work, instead of going in there, working on that business plan, tweaking that business plan, making 5 extra phone calls for loans, or making that extra phone call for that last sale. But, hey, I want to go to happy hour with my friends. You understand what I'm saying, Lo? Just because I think I want to have a little fun real quick. But you've lost 2 or 3 hours, on that day. So you're still sticking to those bad habits, Lo. And I'm here to tell you guys this week, hey, let's look at those habits that are not conducive in forming our goals and achieving some of our goals. And we're going to have to break those bad habits, Lo, if we want to take our life to the next level. See, this quarter, my quote for this quarter is next level. Everything I'm doing, I'm taking it to the next level. Taking my husband, being a better husband to the next level, being a better father to the next level, being a better teacher, a better coach to the next level, a businessman to the next level. So I'm going to encourage all our listeners today, think about taking your life to the next level and doing what it takes to do that. Lo, and tell our listeners, I want you to just share with them that preparation process and that mental part, and what does it really mean to be mentally prepared?
Yeah, man, and no fault to our listeners who are guilty of this. I mean, we do live in a society. I call it the microwave society. I remember as a kid when Mom was preparing a meal, and you smelt the food, like you saw the preparation. You saw her chopping up all the ingredients, and you just knew, like, man, you could smell it. Like, she didn't even put everything together yet, and the house is smelled like it's just smelling delicious, right? Versus today where, you know, it's easier for us to just say, hey, let's put this lasagna package in the microwave, or put it in the oven and let it cook for 35 minutes. Society has taught us that, you know, we don't have to necessarily prepare or wait for something that's important to us, like a meal or anything. So I first want to say that because I think that our generation, it's a microwave society. People want instant success. And so what happens is when you go and you set a goal out to start a business, or you set a goal out to do something that is way beyond, your imagination, the first thing you have to do is prepare your mind for that process, because it does take a long process in order to develop something that's good. If you want to, if you're making a home-cooked meal and you want that good home-cooked cooking, it takes some time. It takes preparation. And so, you have to prepare your mind in order to, persevere, to endure through the hard times, because, hey, the hard times are going to come, and they're going to come by the truckload. You're going to hear the truck backing up, beep, beep, beep. Like, the problems are going to come, the trouble's going to come, the doubt, the people are going to come and give you doubt, tell you it ain't going to happen. The messenger of fear is going to come visit you. And so if you're not preparing your mind first, you ain't going to make it. And then if you're not preparing the educational piece to it, whether it's whatever it is, I mean, we're talking in broad text right now, but like if you wanted something specific, like for us, for an example, we want to start a speaking business. When that process starts, it starts with the decision, right? You make a decision, and then you make a commitment. And through that commitment, you have to have preparation. And once you have the preparation put in place and you're working on it, then you have to develop incredible faith, because you have to have faith in what you're doing in order to continue to push through. And then you have to execute. You plan and you execute. And so when you're reaching towards a goal, whatever it is that you want, that's the process that you have to take in place. But you have to prepare your mind in order to see it through, because once you go and you start chasing something and things start to go, it starts to get a little difficult, people want to quit, throw in the towel, and say they're all done. So you got to be prepared, Coach, and you have to be mentally prepared. You have to have mental toughness. It's just like anything else. It's like working out. You can't just get back. I can't just get back in the gym and throw up 275, 315 on the bench, and I haven't hit the bench in 6 months. You can't just do that. You're going to hurt yourself, or you're not going to be able to lift it. Something's going to happen, and then, if I hurt myself, then guess what? I'm going to be afraid. I'm going to have fear to go back and lift that type of weight again, because I feel like, man, it's going to fall on my face, or I'm going to hurt myself again. And so you have to have mental toughness, because if you don't prepare your mind for that mental toughness, you're going to quit right in the beginning. Once somebody tell you, no, I don't want to buy your book, and you be like, oh, man, I don't even know why I wrote this book. And you start to develop self-doubt. You start to develop self-doubt and fear. And they say that, fear and doubt kills 95% of dreams, man. That fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. And there was a chart in the Go for No book. I just read that over the week. A little quick read, and I've been holding off on it. And I finally knocked it out, man. And there's a chart in there. And the chart says failure, me, and success. And so many of us believe that we're in between, like we're striving for success while trying to avoid failure. And so you're stuck in that paradigm. You believe that you're in the middle of it, and you're trying your best to stay on the success side. But the successful people understand that that chart is incorrect, that it's me, then there's failure, and then success. I hear Les Brown, Eric Thomas, and all of them say it all the time. Fail your way to success.
Fail your way to success. You're right. Fail your way to success. And Lo, as we talked about preparing your mind, I'm going to give you, our listeners, and even Lo, use some of the strategies I use to prepare my mind, and one of them, and we always hit on it, we talk about that personal development. And for our listeners, again, I know most of our listeners are in tune to what we're saying, but we might have some new listeners of what personal development means. And that really means you're working on yourself, you're working on your mind. This can come in form of reading books, listening to audio, attending seminars with different speakers or motivational speakers. So that keeps your mind prepared. That keeps you fresh. That keeps you, when those no's come, you're able to, you know how to withstand that, because your mind is so fresh on the next step. What do you have to do? So it keeps you from focusing on that problem. And all these books, audios, they have things in common that you just keep pounding in your head. When things come or situations come, you know how to handle that situation. Lo earlier talked about keeping cool, having that faith, knowing it's going to work out at the end. Then he went on and talked about that fear piece. I'm working on something for you guys that's going to help you overcome that fear. I'm going to bring that to you next week. But that overcoming fear is part of the process. You know, you never really you don't fail unless you quit trying. You know, failure is failure. You might not get the desired results, but the ultimate fail, you don't fail until you quit trying. And that's what we're trying to tell you guys, man. You guys are so you have so many ideas, so many things that you want to do, and you just got to go do it. Put a plan together and go do it. And that's what this show is about, encouraging you. Gifted Legacy, Lauren Wilder, Dreamchaser Academy with Coach. We are developing this content for you guys to shorten up the learning curve for you. So it's a lot of books that we mentioned on the podcast today. One was The Greatest Salesman in the World, Go for No. What else did we say? Be Obsessed with Grant Cardone. Hey, guys, we're digging in these books on a daily basis to prepare for the show and to prepare our minds for success. This whole show today was geared toward preparing your mind for success and the dreams that you guys are going to go out and accomplish. And we're so happy that you guys are listening to the show. We're looking forward to growing with you guys. So make sure you keep in touch with us on Instagram and let us know about your journey. And Lo, I'm gonna ask you a question, Lo, real quick. I want to ask you about the decision that you're making to become a public speaker, and how are you prepping yourself to be able to handle the long road haul, all the no's that you're about to receive, because you're going to get a lot of no's, Lo. They're going to say, hey, man, you know, you just don't fit our mold. You know, you're too loud. We don't want you. You're too loud. You know, our kids don't need any motivation. You know, you're going to get all kind of stuff, Lo. I mean, you're going to think you're heading to a school, and then you're going to get an email the next day and say, hey, we canceled. So what do you do? How are you preparing yourself to get ready for that? Because it's coming.
Well, see, yeah. Well, you know, the first thing is this, man, defining your purpose, defining what your purpose is in life. And once you discover that, which is probably one of the hardest things for most people, is to discover their purpose. Discover what did God do, or not what did he do, but why did God give you life, and what was your purpose to contribute to the world? And once you define your purpose, what you'll realize is that the doors will open. Now, some of those doors are going to close, but understand that the doors that close, the relationships that end, those things happen for a reason, and there's a reason for failure, because I just told you, you have to fail your way to success. So reading the book Go for No, it says that yes is the destination and no is how you get there. And so instead of saying I want to land one speaking gig a week, let's say it takes me 20 offers, me going to 20 different schools or universities or nonprofit organizations before I get one yes. Then I set the goal for how many no's I want to go after. So I go for 20 no's a week. If I land 3 out of the 20, then I still keep going for the 20 no's. The more at bats you have, the more times you go at something, the better the chance of you actually making that happen. And so I'm prepared for the long haul because I know my purpose. I know my purpose on earth. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm here to inspire. I'm here to help people decide for themselves that their life has more meaning. Their life has a purpose. There's a reason why they exist. And I want to ensure that after they hear my speech, that they walk away searching for that purpose, searching for that greatness, so that they can go and tap into it and be able to explore it and then share it with the world, because everybody has a reason to be here on earth. Everybody has something they have to contribute. And so I'm prepared mentally to go out and go for it, man. Can't nobody take away what God has in store for me. Can't nobody do that, man. You have to be prepared. I mean, I'm ready for this. Another quote I have here from Grant Cardone, he says, "You deserve massive success so abundant it can't be disrupted, taken away, diminished, or stolen." So what God has in store for you cannot be disrupted, taken away, diminished, or stolen. Now, it can if you just give it away. If you just say, "Oh, I'm good," and you talked about something about growing earlier. If you're not growing, then you're dead. You're not growing. Les Brown says, many people die at the age of 21, but don't get buried until they're 65 because they stop growing, because they stop living. And so it's my responsibility, man, to get out here and talk in front of a group of kids. I don't care if it's 5, if it's 10, if it's 1,000. I'm going to push. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing because I know this is my destiny. This is my purpose in life. And so I cannot disobey what God has put in me. And I have no choice but to keep pushing forward and keep pushing through it. And I'm mentally prepared for the no's, man. I mean, I have a rebuttal for every no. I have something to share with the people who feel that they don't need my services. And I'm going to constantly push forward, man. One thing my mom told me the other day was that was so inspiring. She says, "If there's anything I know about you, son, you're not going to quit until, you're going to keep pushing." She's like, you're going to I know you're going to reach your destination, and I just hope that the good Lord finds it in my life so I can see it from my own eyes. And that means a lot, man. That's inspiring because, here's the woman who gave birth to me, and she sees the struggle. She saw the struggles that I've gone through, but she sees that fight in me to not give up, man, to keep pushing. And I will be, the day that I stop pushing towards my dream, that'll be the day I give up on life, and that's not going to happen, Coach. So, I'm ready for this, man. I'm built to last, as they will say. I'm built to last. I'm built for this.
Man, it sounds like you're ready, man. And I'm going to tell my listeners, I didn't tell Lo this before, what I'm about to say, but what he just told me had already written down to tell you guys to end this show. And he said what his mother told him about him, but I was going to leave y'all with this. And it comes from the greatest salesman in the world. If y'all don't know, real quick, about a guy he got a low job, and he seen this girl. That's what motivated him. That was his wife. But he knew he had no chance at this girl performing a job. So he went to this guru and said, hey, I want to be wealthy and rich. I'm ready. So the story goes on and it tells you about that. But one thing the guru told him, failure will never overtake you if your determination to succeed is strong enough. So Lo just told you guys, failure would never overtake him because his determination to succeed is so strong. So you guys, I want y'all to think about that quote. I'm going to say it again, and you can repeat it. Failure would never overtake me if my determination to succeed is strong enough. Hey, guys, we love you guys. Hey, stay in tune with us. Share the show. Guys, we're just looking to grow with you guys and for you guys to be part of this journey with us to the top of the ladder and even more. There's no limit to what we're doing. We want to impact millions and millions of people with our message and share our stories with you guys so that way you can go out and change the world with us, because that's what it's about. It's about giving back. It's about making a difference. That's what Gifted Legacy, Dreamchaser Academy, Coach and Lo, that's what we're about. So, again, hey, guys, you can find us on Spreaker, iTunes, StormTalk365.com, Lo Inspires on Instagram, Dreamchaser Academy. Lo, any last words for our listeners?
Man, just go out there and just keep pushing towards your goals, man. Don't let nobody deter you. Don't let nobody disrupt your move, man. Just keep pushing forward, working secret, so that your heavenly Father can bless you in front of people, in front of everybody, openly. So just continue to work, man. Continue to develop your skills, whatever it is that you do. If you're in school, just like Coach said, man, just keep pushing. Just keep developing to be a better you. And just stay blessed, man. Like we said, we love you, man. We look forward to hearing from everybody and look forward to next week's show.
Peace.
Peace.